see, I did finish my nails. I took off some of the glue, but it had stained these matte nails, so I painted over the three and then painted over this one as well to make them somewhat match, and then I immediately screwed this one up again, but then I gave up because I always screw up with my nails when it comes to nail polish. So that's that. Anyway, they don't look too bad for my first time, so I'm happy with that. It's hard to get used to, but I will prevail eventually. This mug is like so beat up. I have in here some chamomile tea, but I did it the lazy way, with a tea bag right in the cup. So, yeah, let's just take this spoon out of the way. Okay, so today I have for you another item from my mother's shop, or it will soon be in the shop anyway. And it's the Rural and Native Heritage Cookbook, which I've never seen one before, so that was cool. It's a bit stained, but you know, I think it's older. So here's what it says. Living in small countryside communities, whether isolated or rural, has always required a certain amount of adaptability and resourcefulness. Recent years has seen many such communities looking back to the past for answer to today's ever-increasing costs, especially in the areas of basic necessities. A present-day drive through the countryside during the winter months reveals stacks of wood piled alongside homes and smoke rising from virtually every chimney of the year-round residents. This is not, in most cases, some family enjoying the serenity of a cozy fireplace, but an honest effort at offsetting the high energy costs that are associated with heating the home. The old country cook stove, once a thing of the past, is now being manufactured in the modern airtight version, which serves not only as an efficient heating source, but a major food-producing kitchen appliance. This trend in reverting to the past has not been limited to heating and cooking, but has also revealed the need for alternate food sources, especially for low-income families. The Lovesick Lake Native Women's Association recognized the need to offset everyday food costs and make use of available edible natural plants, wild game, and fish. They also recognized the need to document the preparation of such foods from the time-proven recipes of parents and grandparents before they become lost to canned goods and chain store commodities. The origin of this cookbook is best described in their own words. Our parents lived off the land in this area, and most of us were raised on muskrat, beaver, venison, rabbit, fish, bear, and waterfowl, with scone bread and vegetables grown from a garden. It was an annual event to pick berries and fruit and preserve for the winter months. This ability and need to live off the land is returning as budgets get tighter and tighter. Trappers are being encouraged to return home with the carcass as well as the pelt. Hunting is more of a necessity than a sport, and last summer saw more mothers and kids with berry baskets heading for the bush. Without these available natural foods, there would have been many a sparse-looking meal placed on the dinner table this past winter. It is this realization of our adaptability that has encouraged us to prepare this cookbook, which we hope will encourage others to make use of the natural resources in their area. It was not a simple task to research and document the resourcefulness of our parents and grandparents at daily food gathering and preparation. After over a year of collecting more than 2,000 living off the land recipes from numerous native and rural communities, this first introductory edition has been completed. During the course of this gathering, several television appearances and newspaper articles revealed that interest was being generated for the cookbook from people in all walks of life. Although the book was being designed with low-income native and rural people in mind, during a conversation with Duke Redbird, Canadian poet, writer, and actor, the question was asked, "Who do you think will use and benefit from our heritage cookbook?" The reply was, "Without a doubt, anyone who eats." So to everyone, we hope this first edition brings the enjoyment, pleasure, and satisfaction we have had in preparing it. The Lusig Lake Native Women's Association. Okay, so that's interesting. Let's take a look inside. My lodge. Simple was my lodge of birch. Pure was the water that I drank. Swift was the canoe that carried me. Straight was the arrow that protected me. Wild was the meat that fed me. Sweet was the sugar maple. Strong were the herbs that sustained me. Great was my mother, the earth. Duke Redbird. I like that. It's really nice. The Gathering Introduction. We wish to introduce to you The Gathering. It is our finest collection of recipes tried and true throughout the years. We offer a variety of tasty, economical dishes to set before your family and friends. With the glowing interest in using wild game as a valuable food source to your menu, we have selected our best recipes that we are sure you will enjoy. Oh, it's Burleigh Falls, Ontario. I was wondering where they were. I'm actually not sure of that location either, but I'll look it up. At least I know it's in Ontario. So this is really cool. Oh, that's nice. Look at the nice artwork too. Oh, they did a really good job. Oh, it says 84. So this book is fairly old. Was there any year information? Did I miss it? Let's see. There's a lot of information in this book. But I'm wondering if the year published is on here. I don't see it, but going by the artwork here that's dated with the Patty Whiting, I think it says Whiting, 84. I'm going to assume it's about 84 at least. Okay, a day in the bush. A day in the bush is a day like no other, for it's the only time that we can revel and be one in all of nature's splendor. A mighty tree is talking to us as it sways and groans to the wind. A squirrel is chattering and teasing us as he throws an acorn from his loft. I am not the mighty hunter I should have been, but I am just as sly, and I can see and make fun with the animals as they come out to watch the man who has returned to the bush. Yes, a day in the bush, it's a day like no other. That's cool. I wonder who wrote that one. temperatures without a thermometer. Sprinkle a teaspoon of flour on an inverted pie plate or baking tin and place in a heated oven. If flour turns delicate brown in 5 minutes, the oven temperature is slow, between 250 and 325 Fahrenheit. If flour turns golden brown in 5 minutes, the oven is moderate, between 325 and 340. And if flour turns deep brown in 5 minutes, the oven temperature is hot, between 400 and 450. Well then, who would have known? Not myself, because I am not much of a cook, really. Okay, useful tips. Interesting. Wow, this is a pretty cool book, I'm not gonna lie. I find it interesting. Oh, the bear. Okay, let's go back here for useful tips. Simmer a pan of vinegar on the stove when cooking any food that has a strong odor. This will help dispel this odor. Well, geez, I could have used that a million times before now. This is already an invaluable book. Okay. Dip your spoon in cold water when spooning dumplings or drop biscuits. This prevents the dough from sticking. Okay, that sounds good. I don't think I've ever made them on my own. Thaw fish in milk. The milk draws out the frozen taste and provides a fresh caught taste. Really? Wow. Okay. I feel like I need to photocopy this page for the future. To remove scales from fish, nail some bottle caps on a piece of board and use them to scrape the fish. Nail some bottle caps. I'm not sure how that would work, but I also don't scale fish. I wish I could see an actual demonstration. To remove the gamey taste from beaver, add a tablespoon of coffee to the water when parboiling. See, I don't think I'll need that one. I don't think I would ever want to eat beaver just because, I don't know, I like beavers, I like watching them, but I don't think I want to eat them. Submerging a lemon in hot water for 15 minutes before squeezing will make it yield almost twice as much juice. Oh, that's useful for me, yes. Wild leafy edibles have a longer lifespan if stored in paper rather than cellophane bags. That makes sense because I often like it, especially with lettuce, if you put in words are failing me currently. It's after midnight. It's almost 1:45. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't do videos so late, but if I don't, the traffic is unbearable, the noise of the traffic. So, c'est la vie, right? We have to do what we have to do. Okay, yeah, I was thinking, okay, paper towel with your leafy vegetables does seem to make them last longer. Buffalo meat is not wild or gamey tasting. While beef may be red in color, buffalo is a much darker color, almost brown. I've never tried buffalo meat. I wonder what it's like. Buffalo is approximately 30% higher in protein than beef, contains almost no cholesterol due to low fat content, and is just about 100% pure nutrition, containing no additives. Wow, I can't speak. That is pretty amazing, actually. So, I feel like we should be producing more buffalo meat. But I think buffalo are rather scarce. Yeah, we should definitely have more buffalo. I'd try it. But what I think I've This meat will become tough if overcooked. Well, I don't think that I'm going to be able to use this anytime soon, but that's good to know. When cooking the snapping turtle, okay, I'm definitely not eating a turtle because I really like turtles, just in general. I don't think I want to eat a turtle. When cooking the snapping turtle, after removing the head, be careful not to touch the head for at least 24 hours, as the nerves remain alive for at least that amount of time. What? What? I had no idea. Seriously. I had never heard that before. That's crazy. Okay, cool fact. Very interesting. Very, very, very interesting. Okay, when cooking large game, never put salt on before cooking. Salt makes the meat tough. Okay, fair, fair. For marinating any game meat, always use a dry wine, never sweet. Nice. When roasting game birds, add a carrot to absorb the grease in the roasting pan. Okay. All game birds are delicious when cooked with fruit, pineapple, oranges, cherries, etc. You know, speaking of pineapple, my mother wanted to find out different ways of making steaks softer, and one of the ways that she tried marinating was with pineapple juice or pineapple. It tasted so good, honestly. You should Google that if you want to try something new with steak. Pineapple. And it does make it a bit softer, I think. So yeah, this probably would taste pretty good. I've had pineapple with ham and with steak. I can't think of it. Maybe I have. My mother, she likes to be inventive, so I probably have had something that had some fruit with it. The slower game birds are cooked, the better the taste will be. Okay. When a bird is well cooked, its flesh will come away easily from the bones. That's true. That I do know. Poor cook as I am. Big game cuts. Interesting. Okay, I'm going to assume that's the neck, and that's the butt, and these are like the front portions. Front leg and back leg. Cool. Okay, big game. The bear. The color of the black bear varies from black to all shades of brown. They are found mostly throughout all wooded areas of North America and range in a radius of about 15 miles. It is ordinarily an independent creature, and man its only threat. Bears are very clean animals, grooming often. They tend to eat anything from ants to elk and all kinds of vegetation. Generally, they weigh in at 200 to 300 pounds, and the meat of the young bear is delicious. The bear is skinned and butchered much the same as the domestic cow. It is important that the pelt is not marred during the process because of its value. Nice little drawing there, I like that. Yeah. I did see some black bear in person from afar. Going up to more northern Ontario, we used to go up to Algonquin Park a lot. It's one of my favorite places. And of course you can see them in like the Muskoka area as well, and other places. But I think outside of Algonquin and Whitney, there is or there was anyway, a small dump, a town dump, very small, but the bears would constantly go I'm not going to be eating roast bear anytime soon. I would maybe try it if somebody offered me some, but I would never buy bear meat of any kind, I don't think. I'm a little afraid to cook meats. I always want them to be cooked properly, and if I have not done it like a million times, then I'm a little anxious about it. The most important tools used on the buffalo were the scraper, the flesher, and the draws blade. The scraper was a flat stone, which was used to remove the meat and fat from the inside of the hide. The flesher was a piece of flint with a handle. It was used to hack down the hide to the required thickness, and the draws blade was a curved willow stick filled with a bone splinter. It was used to shave the hair from the hide. This is so much information, and I really like this book. Tons of things I would never in a million years know. Tanning the hide was also considered by the Indians as woman's work. The brains and liver of the buffalo were mixed with soapweed and grease and rubbed into both sides of the hide. After this mixture was allowed to soak into the hide overnight, it was then dried by the sun. Wow, okay. I find it interesting referring as Indians here because I thought this was all written by Native people. And these days we don't, the Native people don't like being called that. Usually I think in Canada anyway, it's indigenous, in case you're, listening to this video from elsewhere. Indigenous people, I know a lot of Native people don't mind the term Native people, or like the actual tribe name, if you happen to know it, which, usually you don't unless you're very involved. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Buffalo jerky, I'd try it. Recommended as a light source of protein for hiking and canoe trips. I would agree with that. I like jerky, beef jerky anyway. Modern day recipes originated in the Ottawa Valley. The Indian dried bear or moose meat with fat and berries pounded into it. That's cool. Original jerky was rubbed down with salt and hung in teepees to smoke and dry. French explorers yanked and pulled at the meat while it was hanging to speed up the drying process, hence the translated name jerked beef. Really? Okay, that's interesting. Wow, alright. There's so much stuff here, it's hard to know what to read, and I'm not going to read everything, obviously. This would go on forever, this video. Hopefully you like what I am choosing to read. White-tailed deer. Okay, a lot of us know about this. The white-tailed deer is a deep chestnut color in the summer with the characteristic white underside of their tail, which they put up in the air when frightened. They eat a variety of vegetation, including leaves, acorns, bark, and aquatic plants, and are known to weigh over 100 pounds when they mature. By being the most widely hunted big game animal in North America, they tend to only need a very little area in which to survive. Ironically, though, the deer is prey to all meat eaters right down to the fox. Deer appear to be creatures of habit, using the same trails day after day, and from this pattern they tend to be prime target places for the hunters. They are also known to be an excellent meat source for the table. Venison shepherd's pie. I don't think I've ever even eaten venison before, to be honest. I would try it. I wouldn't make it myself because I wouldn't trust myself, but I would try it if somebody offered me some. I don't particularly like liver in general, so I probably wouldn't like deer liver, but I'd try other bits. moose. Also, haven't tried moose. I haven't tried a lot of these things. Probably the vast majority of it. The moose is the largest antlered mammal on Earth, weighing as much as 1,800 pounds and being on the average 7.5 feet tall to the shoulder. They are long-legged and have a high hump-shaped body which is dark brown in color. For their size, the moose is a very quiet animal with an extremely well-developed sense of smell and hearing. They spend a good deal of time in the water and are excellent swimmers, even over long distances. The only threat to the moose besides man is wolves. Only in a very weakened condition can a wolf pack take advantage of this great animal. The moose is a territorial animal, rarely leaving their 5-square-mile range, except perhaps in the mating season. Their diet consists of foliage, grasses, and aquatic plants. Moose meat is highly recommended as a substitute for any other red meats. Moose steak with mushroom sauce. Curried moose burgers. Pemmican. Okay, I've heard the name pemmican before, but I don't know what it is. Moose meat, raisin, dates, melted suet, melted vegetable shortening, and lemon juice. Oh, so it's kind of like a... Okay. It's kind of like a jerky patty, but it's like ground up and then other things added into it. That's cool. Dress all game as soon as possible to ensure freshness and the prevention of bacterial growth. If the intestines have been shot up and this material has gotten onto the flesh, it must be carefully cut and wiped away. That makes sense. Look for any yellowish fatty kernels under each front shoulder and the small of the back. If these are not removed, there will be an unpleasant taste. Kernels, yellowish fatty kernels. Old and tough animals may require parboiling for tenderness, but not absolutely necessary. I have heard that before. Like rooster is not as good to eat. I heard. I don't know if that's true because I've never actually eaten it myself, but I'm going to take people's word on that one. Beaver. The beaver is a small game animal with a heavy body, short legs, large webbed feet, and scaly tail. The fur is dense and varies from reddish chestnut to deep brown and almost black. The average weight of a mature beaver is 40 to 50 pounds. In order to survive, it lives on tree bark, grasses, and aquatic plants. The beaver is an aquatic animal which, if necessary, creates its own water reservoir by use of dams. They build houses out of sticks and mud with water entrances, but tall enough to be above the water line. They are tireless workers and very docile. When alarmed, they slap their tail on the water as a warning. The major enemy of the beaver is man, but they sometimes fall prey to the larger predators such as the wolf. Beaver is also an excellent table meat. Nice. A few years back, when I used to live in Hamilton, there's a trail, and part of the trail is kind of floating. It's man-made floating bridge type area, and it goes around. And beavers moved in, or a beaver moved in, and I was taking my dog at the time for a walk, and we were looking at what appeared to be the beaver dam, which was right next to the bridge part, like really, really close. And all of a sudden, the beaver was there, and was floating in the water like a log, and he was big, he was full size, but he was floating and just like kind of watching my dog, looking at him. Just kind of floating, very slight movement closer, and my dog saw him and he didn't know what to do, and he started crying, and obviously I had him on leash, so everything was fine. And then eventually he just like dove under the water and went and did his thing, but I thought it was so cool that he was checking out the dog and interested in seeing what was up. He didn't do anything. He wasn't at all aggressive. He was just kind of curious. It was really cute. Maybe that's why I wouldn't want to eat beaver. guess technically you can stuff even chicken breast. Beaver tails and sauce. When I think of beaver tails, I think of that deep fried stuff. That's dessert. I don't really like those, but oh, the bullfrog. The bullfrog is the largest frog, measuring 3.5 to 6 inches. It is a plain or nearly plain green color with a net-like pattern of gray or brown on a green black background. It is whitish, often mottled with gray with a yellowish throat underneath. They have long hind legs and are narrow-waisted and rather smooth-skinned. They are aquatic amphibians living in lakes, ponds, bogs, or sluggish portions of streams. The legs of the bullfrog are considered a delicacy throughout many parts of North America. Interesting. I wonder if it's still eaten that much. I know that a lot of places in Ontario, there's been pollution and the frog populations have dwindled, so it's possible that, like, from the time I was a child, until now, so let's say like 30 years back, and there was a big drop in frog species, and it's really sad because it's a very good indicator if your environment is not in good shape, and well, at least this was the case in the Hamilton area, and you know, all that built up area around the lakes, yeah, they really dwindled. Now that some of them seem to be coming back, but they aren't like they once were yet. Hopefully they will come back. The hind legs of the frog are the only part that can be eaten. Huh. Well, they would be the most muscular part, I suppose. Groundhog. The groundhog, also known as the woodchuck, is a small animal weighing from 5 to 10 pounds and generally has coarse brown fur. The groundhog lives in a burrow of his own making. This house has several tunnels and several emergency exits. Usually you will find 3 sleeping chambers at the end of the tunnel. Because of its low intelligence level, it is easily killed by man. The groundhog is known to be 90% vegetarian. Probably eats bugs. Groundhog is an excellent table meat that is easily found throughout the countryside in open grassy areas and farmers' fields. The hide, when tanned, is extremely durable. Interesting. Muskrat. The muskrat is a small animal which weighs approximately 2 pounds. They are dark brown in color and light gray or tan through the belly. They adapt well to aquatic life because of their scaly, flattened tail and valves or flaps which prevent water entering their nose, mouth, and ears. Muskrat prefer to live in freshwater marshes and slow-moving streams. They are known to have several houses for dwelling and feeding. The food source for muskrat consists of cattails, bulrushes, submerged pond weeds, crayfish, and frogs. Similar to the beaver, they are active throughout the year. Many people consider muskrat a delicacy and look forward to the trapping season when the meat is utilized as well as the hide. I've seen one up close a few times. I think mostly up north when we were camping. Definitely some of the times in Algonquin Park. And actually, I think I've seen a groundhog once, and that surprisingly was at the York University campus in Toronto. Why they have one on campus, I don't know. But yeah, I saw that one a few times. Cool. Porcupine. Now this one, I wouldn't want to get near. You'd have to be pretty brave. The porcupine is recognized by its heavy dark brown or blackish body and a heavy short tail. The hair on the porcupine hides the quills, unless the creature is alarmed. porcupine usually weighs 8 to 15 pounds. Really, I thought they would be bigger than that. It is known to be very clumsy and slow-moving. Their diet consists of most plants, nuts, and tree bark. Although the porcupine is well protected, it does have its enemies. Usually the porcupine wins, but on occasion, an animal learns to flip the porcupine and is able to attack the defenseless belly. Contrary to many beliefs, the porcupine does not shoot its quills. When properly prepared, the meat is very good. So it's tough because they soak the meat overnight in vinegar and water. Vinegar is an acid which helps to break down the toughness of the meat. It breaks down some of the molecules. Rabbits and hares. Although there are different types of rabbits and hares, they all have certain things in common. Certain traits such as long ears, long powerful hind legs, and great speed are common to all rabbits and hares. Most are grayish to brown on top and white underneath. The common snowshoe rabbit changes to white all over during the winter months. Depending on the type of animal, the weight varies from 2 to 8 pounds. All rabbits and hares are known to be vegetarians and can be found in every locale of North America. Rabbits and hares are an excellent table meat, as can be seen by the number of domestic rabbit breeders found today. Interesting. Yeah, my dog likes to chase them. He's old and he has a paralyzed back leg now, but he used to be able to run full tilt and still couldn't catch them. He has a high prey drive. He's a part terrier, part lab. The raccoon is a nocturnal animal with good vision and hearing. The naked soles of their feet are extremely sensitive to touch, and the coat of the raccoon ranges from black to tawny, pale gray, and blonde. They have prominent black rings on their tails, and their nickname Bandit bespeaks their famous black facial mask over their cheeks, eyes, and nose. The average raccoon weighs about 17 pounds. Raccoons prefer forested areas near water, river valleys, and farmland. They usually live in hollow trees, logs, caves, mines, and other animals' burrows. Raccoons are omnivores, eating young birds, small mammals, carrion, poultry, fish, frogs, eggs, fruit, nuts, berries, grain, and corn. Although raccoons do not hibernate, they are inactive and stay in their dens when the temperature is below 26 Fahrenheit. Raccoons are also considered an excellent table meat. They can be tricky little bums too. The biggest one I ever saw was up in Algonquin Park, and it was a big mother, and she had many babies with her. She was huge. Holy. Squirrels today are a more common sight in the cities and towns than they are in their natural woodland habitat. Nuts and seeds are the mainstay of the squirrel's diet. They are busy gatherers and store their catch for winter use. Squirrels are found in almost all of the temperate zones. They are gray to black in color with long bushy tails and weigh only 1 to 1.5 pounds. The meat of the squirrel is considered by many to be a delectable dish. Wow. I don't think I'd eat them, but man, are they ever destructive. I used to live right off of a park, and I think one of the neighbors had just put in new windows with brand new screens, and they chewed all the brand new screens out because they could. And I think my parents' house at one point was invaded by these little buggers. Yeah, they're what they were, and they relocated them. But man, they're so destructive. And they are overpopulated in Hamilton anyways. And so many there. And they are cute though. I do think they're really cute. I remember I had a roommate once from Morocco, and she had never seen squirrels before. So when we went out on a walk, she was taking really close photos as much as possible of the squirrels, because to her they were like this novel thing, and to me I was like, oh my god, they're so destructive. And they make my dog go crazy. There's one here that will mock him and just kind of tease him. There's not too many squirrels around where the house is, where we live, but there's a lot throughout the town. Like, there's a fair amount, I should say, throughout the town. And the ones here are really stupid, and they look like they get hit by cars a lot. It's kind of, and we've been driving quite a few times, and they will cross right at the wrong moment, and you know, you hope for the best, and because you really should not slam your brakes for squirrels. It could cause accidents. And yeah, they're not as smart here as they were in Hamilton. The snapping turtle is a reptile having a large head with a strongly hooked beak, with an exceedingly rough shell and very long tail. It is easy for them to protect themselves by hiding within their shell. Snapping turtles are brown in color. They are found in any body of fresh water, and their eating habits range from such things as aquatic invertebrates, fish, reptiles, birds, mammals, carrion, and vegetation. Underwater they are inoffensive, but on land they will strike out. The snapping turtle is found in southern parts of Canada, and the meat is considered a delicacy by many. One time in Algonquin Park, we went jumping off of a bridge, and we almost jumped on one. Luckily, it didn't get mad at us and just swam away. And then another time I forget where we were, but my friend had thrown some sunfish over, and they were dead, and then we were just sitting in her boat chatting, and then she looked over the side. This is when we were teenagers, and she was like, oh my god, pass me the net. And there was this massive, the biggest snapping turtle I've ever seen. It was just so big. I'm trying to think, like, compare its shell size in my head to something that is a common size object, and I just can't think of, like, its shell was bigger than a beach ball. So, your standard size beach ball. And, I just cannot think of how to compare its shell size. But anyways, it was huge, and she wanted to catch it in one of these nets, and her nets were very clearly not big enough, and I was like, no, I'm not passing you. I'm not giving you the net. It's not big enough. Look at the size of that thing. There's no way it's a snapping turtle. Oh yeah, you definitely lose some fingers very, very easily if you try doing that. So I'm glad he was way too big, because she would have tried. She was so excited. The older the bird, the longer it must be cooked. Older birds are usually used in soups and stews. A pliable spur. I don't know what that means. A young pheasant has a pliable spur. Well, it's movable, but I don't know what they mean by spur. The breastbone of a young partridge will break easily, and the leg will be plump near the foot. The claws of a young bird are sharp, those of an old one are blunt. Ducks. Ducks can generally be divided into two groups. The first one being those ducks which take their food on or from the surface of the water or on land, and those taking their food from under the surface. The surface feeding ducks mostly have broad, flat bills with a turned down projection at the tip. Their legs are placed near the center of the body, making them adequate swimmers and well-balanced walkers. The under the surface feeding ducks eat more animal food than the other type of duck, as well as vegetable matter. The legs are placed near the rear of the body, making them excellent swimmers but clumsy on land. All ducks require open water and are therefore migratory in northern North America. Ducks excellent eating. Usually the surface-feeding ducks provide the more palatable fare. Would they eat the Canadian geese? Are all of them as good, or some of them just taste bad? Oh, geese are different. Geese are migratory birds traveling great distances in the spring and fall. They nest on the ground and always near water. The species included are the Canada brant and snow. These geese all have certain things in common. They all mate for life and keep their young with them until the following spring. The female incubates the eggs while the male stands guard. These geese feed on roots of aquatic plants, grasses, and grain. They lose their flight feathers for a time after the eggs are hatched. Is there anyone who hasn't heard the honking of the geese in the spring and fall, or saw the familiar V in the sky? Goose meat is quite delectable as a dinner fare. Okay, they do eat it, but these things are mean. They can be really mean, and also, when they poop everywhere, it is not fun. Partridge. The partridge are land birds with small heads and bills and long legs. They are brown in color and have a ruff around the neck and a fan-shaped tail. These birds are chicken-like and nest on the ground. They are non-migratory, although they tend to wander irregularly in winter. They are found throughout the northern hemisphere and can survive the winter months because of their ability to feed in trees. This family of birds are superb dinner fare. Members of this family include ruffed grouse and sharp-tailed grouse. Pheasant and quail. These birds are chicken-like and they take their food from the ground. They suffer in winter because of their inability to feed above the snow cover. All these birds are noted for their beautiful appearance. They are particularly abundant in eastern Canada because of their inability to adapt to less than ideal terrain. By being bright in color, this makes them easy prey. Members of this family include the bobwhite, gray partridge, and ring-necked pheasant. They are very tasty if you can be fortunate enough to bag any. I've never had any of them. Just chicken and turkey. Pigeons and doves. This family of birds is noted for their small heads, small bills, and short legs. They are extremely fast-flying birds with pointed wings. Most feed on the ground on seeds, usually wheat seeds and waste grain. Pigeons and doves are prolific. They inhabit all parts of the world except the northern areas. These birds nest in trees and are recognized by the cooing sounds they make. Oh, and if they nest on your balcony, they're a real annoyance. They can make such messes. I think I heard somebody call them sky rats before. Fish. Fish should be cleaned immediately after catching and stored in a cold place until ready to use or frozen if they are not going to be eaten the same day. If caught in the position of swallowing a bone, always have bread available, as a small chunk of bread can usually force the bone down to avoid choking. Oh, okay. Interesting. In order to tell if the fish has cooked sufficiently, the meat should flake at the touch of a fork. Usually this is about 10 minutes. To prevent fish from falling apart when frying, coat with beaten egg and then flour or use a coating mix. Okie dokie. I don't usually eat fish. Oh, look at all the different fish. I don't know, though, that I want to keep reading all this because we are almost at an hour-long recording. This is very, very, very long. Maybe I'll come back another time and continue. choose something else. Cleaning, skinning, and tanning. Yeah, there's so much. I don't think I want to keep going through it. Oh, I see. So they tell you how to skin and cut everything properly. Okay. Even the turtle. Interesting. Well, tanning, wild edibles. Okay, that's an interesting one too. It might be interesting to read the plant section. But I don't know. Maybe not tonight. Because yes, it is getting late and I'm getting tired, and I already shot a video earlier today for the nails. So, if I get back to it, I will. But this has been the Rural and Native Heritage Cookbook. Part of my mother's store collection. And I'm sure she